Hello. So a lot of people ask me about bioinformatics, how to get started in bioinformatics, and if some students are already enrolled in bioinformatics degree, so what should they do? How should they go about their degrees, and what sort of skills they should attain by the end of their degrees, especially bachelors. So my point of view has always been the fact that you should try and figure out what you actually want to do in bioinformatics because bioinformatics has a lot of different set of fields such as genomics, translation, bioinformatics, then drug discovery, and now a very hot topic is going on, which is AI or machine learning in biological data analysis or even genomics. So there are a lot of fields, but first of all, you need to identify what you actually would like to do. For example, if you want to go towards phylogenetics, phylogenomics analysis, you can build around a PhD around those topics. Or if you want to go towards that, choose that field. But if you are moved, if you have interest in the fact, in computational drug discovery, finding a peptides for a protein, designing an antibody, designing a compound or a pharmacophore model for a particular disease, in that case, you should definitely go towards drug discovery. You should not think about genomics, you should not think about NGS, you should not think about coding even, because a lot of machine learning and a lot of drug discovery, those packages, those codes are already available. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So in that terms, in those terms of analysis for drug discovery, you don't need to learn coding such as Python or Bash. Yes, a little of Bash is required, but not a lot, because most of the time you'll be working with servers or graphical user interfaces. You don't need to code. So if you want to move towards computational drug discovery, go. But it depends if your interest lies there or not, because it is not entirely fruitful until unless you do something very new or very unique. For example, applying machine learning on the descriptors, on the ligands, or to identify pharmacophore model for your disease. So in that case, you should go towards drug discovery. But if you are moved towards finding new biomarkers, new therapeutic biomarkers, new drug targets, new vaccine targets, that way, in that side, you should go towards genomics analysis, because in genomics analysis you should learn NGS, RNA sequencing analysis, variant calling, and all the different technologies that are resided within that come under the NGS umbrella. So in that case, you should go towards next generation sequencing or genomics, in other words. So through there you can identify biomarkers, therapeutic drug targets, etc. But to set aside in this type of field, you need Python language knowledge, you need R language, definitely R, and Bash is utmostly required. So you should learn Python or Bash. Any of these languages will suffice, but Bash is very important, because without Bash you cannot do NGS, you cannot do RNA sequencing properly. Yes, there are servers available such as Galaxy, but you cannot do something properly without utilizing the Linux compute power. So this is something that you should know, that you should first try and see which field you want to move in, and then try and simplify your tasks. Programming is very important in bioinformatics, but it is not important if you want to go towards computational drug discovery. So if anyone says don't bother, just do whatever you want to do where your interest lies, because bioinformatics is a kind of tricky field. It's very new in terms of analysis and data, and it is especially new for a beginner or a bachelor's student. So in that scenario, you should definitely think of limiting your options to your interest, rather than a lot of these many skills, and whichever you should try and figure out on your CV, your resume, etc. So try and be sure with your interests, and then figure out what you actually want to do with bioinformatics. But at the end of the day, even if you go towards drug discovery or translation chemistry, you can always interchange later on. So try and learn at least one programming language, which will be very helpful for you in long term. So I hope that answers the questions, and we will see if there are any other questions.